This video covers 17.4. We're going to work some problems together, and then you're going to use those ideas to solve some more problems. So this first one, a plumber charges a $25 service fee and $50 per hour. If X represents the number of hours the plumber is at your house, the total cost for the plumber service is represented by f of x equals 50x plus 25. Identify the domain and range for this problem. So if we want to use our calculators, we can plug our equation 50x plus 25 into y equals and go to the table. We're going to have to use a little bit of common sense here first. So our domain is going to be our x's, and x represents the hours the plumber is at your house. So if we think logically about hours, could a plumber come out to your house and not be there for a full hour? Yeah. Could he stay for 1 hour? Yeah. 2 hours? Yeah. 3 hours? Yeah. 4 hours? And so forth. Range is your y's. Y's are your money. So if we look across, if he's at your house for 0 hours, it would cost you about $25, $75, $125, and so on. The next problem asks us to identify domain and range for this graph. Domain is our x's, range is our y's. Now remember, when we're looking at x's and y's, we are looking at the entire graph. So for our x's go all the way to the left to -7. At -7, there is a closed bubble, so we put a line under the inequality. We follow them all the way along. They have values all the way until +8. And at +8, there is a filled-in bubble, so we use the line under the inequality. These also happen to be my endpoints, but it does not mean that my endpoints are the end-all, be-all. For example, your range is your y's. My y's go all the way down to -6. Notice -6 is not an endpoint. So make sure you're looking at the entire graph. Then my y's go all the way up to about 9.5 maybe. So make sure when you're looking at graphs, you are taking in the whole graph. You're looking at the entire left, the entire right, the entire up, and the entire down. What is the domain of 9 minus x squared? Well, let's take a gander at what this graph is going to look like. 9 minus x squared. So here's my graph. Oh, it's a quadratic. I know all domains for all quadratics are always all reals. You could also see it like this. You could also see it as the words infinitely many. So please remember, all three of these things mean the same thing, and all three of these could be used on your EOC. The next question, which graph represents a function with a domain, so we're looking at x's, of all real numbers greater than or equal to -7 and less than 2. So greater than or equal to 7, but less than 2. So my x's all the way out to -7. Nope, A doesn't even get out to -7. B doesn't even get out to -7. C doesn't even get out to -7. D is the only one that goes all the way out to -7. And notice it's included, the bubble is included because it's greater than or equal to. And then it goes all the way to the right to 2, and it's less than, but it is not equal to, which is why there's not a filled-in bubble. But as long as you know domain means x's and you look at your x's for -7, bam, there's your answer. On the back, we are told that researchers in Antarctica discovered a warm sea current under a glacier that's causing the Earth to melt. The ice shelf of the glacier had a thickness of approximately 450 meters when it was first discovered. The thickness is decreasing, probably a keyword there, at an average rate of 0.06 meters per day. Write a function that can be used to find the thickness of the ice shelf in meters x days since the discovery. So we started at 450 meters. That's approximately our starting. It is decreasing, so we are going to subtract. My rate of decreasing is 0.06 per day. Now they tell us x is going to equal days, so we're going to put an x with that 0.06. That's it. The next one, we have a table that represents some points on the graph of a linear function. Which of these represents the same relationship? Well, one thing I can easily do, it is a linear function, so I can go to StatCalc and run a linear regression to at least see which of these slopes is correct, knock it down to a 50-50 chance just by remembering stat edit. So we put our tables in, and then StatCalc 4. So I can see my slope needs to be 12. So F and G are going to be out because they don't even have the right slope. Now I'm looking to see which of these, H or J, has a point written correctly. This is listed in point slope form, so remember point slope from your formula chart. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1, so we've knocked out the m. We know that m is 12. And then when I write a point, I'm noticing we have 20s and 2 68ths, so right here. So this is going to be x, the opposite sign, and the x point. So the x is 20. The only one that has x's with 20s is going to be answer choice H. Answer choice J is totally wrong. It has your x's and your y's switched. The next one, the graph models the linear relationship between the temperature of Earth's atmosphere and the altitude above sea level. Which of these best represents the rate of change of the temperature with respect to altitude? Rate of change is your slope. So one thing we can do is kind of get like a ish points. So this would be the point 0, maybe like 12-ish. And then if we wanted to look maybe here, that 4 is like right under 10, so maybe 4 negative 11. And we'll just kind of see what that does for us here. So we'll just put them in StatCalc and see what happens if we get anything, or if we need to reevaluate. So StatCalc 4, I know that because it's a line. It also tells me linear relationship. And my A value is negative 5.75, so maybe about negative 6. Well, C and D are way too small. B is not close to negative 6. A is the only one that's kind of close. That one's kind of a weird question, so that one's kind of a put it in stat edit and do your best. The last one, a particular type of cell doubles, keyword, doubles, in number every hour. Which function could be used to find the number of cells present at the end of H hours if there are initially 4 of these cells? Our initial value is our number in front. The word doubles means times 2. If I look at my answer choices, H and J, we've never seen anything that looks like that. We haven't seen a plus sign in between those, so no way, Jose. And then remember, doubles means twice as big, which is going to be G, not F. So if you flip the page, now they've asked you to try them. Some of them are multiple choice, some of them are not. And I believe this goes, I think there are a lot of multiple choice here, and it goes to page 8. 14 looks like mostly multiple choice. So make sure you're showing work on these, not just circling random answers. Make sure you're thinking through them, and make sure you get them all done.